Mr. Palmer. How are you, sir? It's another.
I'm doing good.
Another good day. I caught you with a mouthful of stroopwafel there.
Yeah, and I've never tried this before,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, where have I been in my life? And what I'm talking about is I've never taken my stroopwafel and set it on top of my coffee and just let it kind of sit there and warm up a little bit.
Uh huh.
I think they're onto something here. This is good stuff.
Well, I would like to point out, and this is a great. I mean, this wasn't. I don't. I mean, I didn't plan it. I don't know. You might have planned it, but it's a great segue for what we're doing, right? But so every time anybody at this event shows that, they always show a picture of a coffee cup with the steaming hot coffee with the stroopwafel on top. So it's like they've been trying to tell you something, Jim, and it's not like you've never gone to WLPC before. So you finally just clicked.
It finally did. So I just got back from WLPC Prague, for those who don't know, unfortunately, the problem with Prague, this is a big problem, and I'm just going to throw this out right now. And I was complaining about this last week to you when I was there. The coffee delivery system is horrible.
Yeah.
I need a giant vat of black hot coffee to keep me running at WLPC, and the hotel gives you these like little cups, and you can't get, and it takes forever to brew it because it's like, oh, I'm going to brew it fresh. And I'm like, I don't care if you brewed it 2 hours ago. I need the coffee. So, but other than the coffee, Prague was fun. Had a good time there.
So you went there to do what? And don't just say new people.
Met a lot of people. There was so many new people there. It was really encouraging. But I did a presentation that hopefully is going to be out on the YouTube channel by the time we post this. I did a presentation on how I was wrong at Mobility Field Day, which was kind of a humbling experience to have a slide that says, yeah, Jim was wrong. And it was about standard power operation at 6 gigahertz and how half of our clients are going to be in trouble. So if you haven't watched that, you probably should. And I got some more work I have to do with the WLAMPI team so we can come up with a solution for everybody to help them understand when we go to standard power. So, and I taught my deep dive class.
And what is your deep dive, Jim, just for the people who don't know you?
So this is a nice segue. My deep dive is about antennas, and I keep changing. I've changed the name over the past couple of events, but it's basically like antenna fundamentals, RF fundamentals. Really diving deep into the RF part of Wi-Fi, and especially dealing with how our antennas work and how antenna systems works, and things to pay attention to when you're deploying networks with external antennas. And again, nice segue because I'm actually proposed it for WLPC Phoenix this next February. And so if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and vote for that one, and then go ahead and sign up and take it, because there's so many people that like I talked to during registration or other times, and they're like, oh man, I really should have signed up for yours because that sounds like a lot of fun. So here it is, everybody. It's fun. We get a little rowdy. I got a talking to again this year from people, because apparently the hotel front desk was complaining. So it's vote for it, sign up for it. It's pretty fun. I don't know how much longer I'm going to teach it. So if you've been meaning to take it, now's the time.
Spoken like a true salesman.
But so I know, it's sad.
I'm rubbing off on you, and I'm not even a salesman. So speaking of Phoenix, speaking of WLPC, this was totally not planned. Wink, wink, nod, nod. But so you've wrapped up Prague, and that means it's kind of nice, I think, for those people who get to go to both, because you're getting 2 doses of the conference in very short order. Because Prague is, usually mid. This time it was late October, and Phoenix is coming around the corner late February. I'm not going to look up the dates. I don't care at this point. Late February,
like 20. The third. It's
President's Day week. It's President's Day week. Well, it's late compared to last year. Last year was early. This year was early. Whatever. 2023 was earlier. So it's February. So for those of us in colder climates like Jim and I, February in Phoenix. Well, I can't even say it's usually good weather, because the first couple last year was the best. The 2023 conference was the best weather we'd had since I've been there. Every other year that I've gone, it's been like colder than normal or rainier than normal. And I'm like, I left. It's warmer in New York. The one year I was like looking for my winter jacket that I flew in with, and like, and my wife is telling me, oh, it's like 70 degrees and we're outside with the dog in shorts. I'm like, okay, well, I've clearly left the good weather there. So, anyways, Phoenix, February, we're voting. Hopefully, I say this hopefully because the survey hasn't actually gone out live yet, but we're assuming it's coming soon because it should. And there's a couple things we wanted to highlight. Jim's wonderful boot camp. I'm sorry, deep dive.
Deep dive. Every single year you have this problem.
I think it's a gimmick. So Jim has a deep dive. We're not giving up a boot camp. We tried to do that in Prague and nobody wanted to do it. No offense, Jim. Just nobody wanted to do the boot camp at all. But so we've got a boot camp and 2 deep dives that we wanted to highlight for Phoenix. We do have Ruckus related talks as well, but you'll see those, and they're a little bit easier to get in there. But so the reason we wanted to highlight these is it's important to vote for them because you've got to get them onto the survey. But we wanted to make sure you're aware of them because not only do you have to vote for them, but you actually have to register them. Otherwise, they register for them or they won't run.
Yes.
So, and what are they? So we've got your antenna deep dive.
We got the antenna, and then we have your boot camp. See how I did that? I got the words right. Your boot camp of the RCWA, which is the Ruckus Certified Wireless Administrator. I keep screwing that up, and I actually usually call it Wi-Fi Administrator, but it's actually Wireless Administrator. And you taught that last year, and it's being offered up again this year. My goal is to try to actually make it in even 1 day earlier than normal to come and be a guest distractor.
Yeah, it worked out good last year. It worked out good. Everybody liked having you in the class, and
so we got that going on. That's the boot camp, and then we also have your deep dive, which I think if I remember right, you're changing a little bit.
Yeah, we changed it up, and honestly, it's been so long since we polished up the submission and passed it on to the folks running the show. I'm trying to remember exactly what we changed. It's like a network in a box, lab in a box.
Yes. So it's network in a box, lab in a box. Quite frankly,
and for those listening, don't feel bad. I will, like, if I'm actually teaching the class, I'll know what I'm doing by then. It's just, we pitched this a couple of times as a home lab and wasn't getting enough traction. So Jim, I think, had the epiphany to kind of spin it in a little bit of a different direction, still get the same benefits, but a little bit more appeal.
Let me tell you a story about last week, right?
Yep.
I was talking to Peter McKenzie the night before I did my presentation. And then then as we were talking, I realized I was like, oh shoot, there's something I need to test. And so I had to go up into my hotel room late that night and then early the next morning. And I was actually labbing in the hotel room in Prague. But the problem is I didn't have a great way to do it. So I'd thrown a bunch of stuff into my bag to bring with me to Prague, but it was really kind of a hodgepodge thing. And so the lab in a box, network in a box, whatever you want to call it, is this idea that, hey, you can actually have a lab network to use at your house, or a lab network that you can travel with that's small, compact, powerful, and you can do pretty much anything you'd need to do out of a pretty small case. Or you can take it out of the case and you can pack it in a bigger bag type of thing. But it's all based on MikroTik, which we all know is powerful and very expert friendly. And so what John and I have been working on for the past year or so is how do we make it, instead of expert friendly, make it a little more super user friendly, type of thing where if you know what you're doing, it's quick, simple, easy. For newbies, it's still going to be a problem, but that's what the whole deep dive is supposed to do. So if you're interested in doing that and working on that, that is the deep dive for you, and you're going to get some good stuff. And I'm working in some angles inside Ruckus that we can maybe add some stuff to your kit, John.
We'll see. No promises, but we've got some things in the works. Yep. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm biased. I was biased before. I liked what we put together, but I think it makes it maybe a little bit more appealing to some people who aren't as interested in the home lab because, like Jim said, it's you couldn't get a rack that small, and for the size of the gear, you don't want a rack. But it's basically and I have one as a demo kit. It's basically almost like a Pelican case kind of thing. It's not a Pelican case. It's I think it's actually an Amazon case. But hardened case, cut foam, drop them in, drop a couple of the devices in, and bring it with you when you're going traveling. You can use it for disaster recovery. You can use it for setting up your family reunion if you actually want to give your relatives Wi-Fi in the middle of a field or something. Lots of different options. You can do anything you want. Or
in your scenario, you had a request where somebody wanted to set up Wi-Fi at a wedding in some schwanky place.
Yeah, that and that went well. That was using Ruckus, and I'm not going to get into that because.
But again, this would have been a great scenario because if we can use Ruckus, which, like I said, I'm working on. So those are the three things.
Yeah, and I have to do this. I'm not gonna do like the Steve Jobs and one more thing. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I think for those listening and those, as like Jim likes to say, those tens of listeners, and really it's like a couple hundred by the time this all gets done. But and we are very appreciative. We're not trying to be dismissive of you at all. We love it. It's sort of a running joke, and we're excited to see this grow. And for those of you who will make it to Phoenix, assuming we both make it to Phoenix, and we're certainly hoping we make it to Phoenix, we are working on something. We've been cooking this one up for a few months, so we're hoping this comes to fruition, and it should be exciting. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. It's a teaser. I know it's a teaser. You guys can sit there and say, "Damn it, John!" Trust me. Wait till February. It'll be worth it. And so on that note, but like Jim said, the survey will be out. We'll add it to the show notes. Vote early, vote often. Seriously, I think you're only supposed to vote once, but and then when registration opens mid-December, please register for Boot Camp Deep Dive of your choice. Because if you don't register, it won't run. No pressure. Yep. Talking to you, just you.
Cool.
On that note, I guess we can wrap this one up, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See ya.
If you want to contact the show directly, you can email us using the address ruckcast@comscope.com. To learn more about Ruckus products and services that we may have talked about on this or any other podcast, please check the links in the About section of the show.